I've been on a wonderful road trip throughout Britain, exploring just how much of a curry nation it has become. Curries originated in South Asia, and Britain has had a very complicated relationship with all the South Asian countries. I wanted really to explore the relationship between Britain and Nepalese Gurkhas. Literally, thousands and thousands of them have been part of the British Army for a long, long time, and there are equally thousands of them who call Britain their home.
In this program, I spent time with one of the master chefs of the Gurkha Armed Forces, Pemba Lama. We visit a Nepalese cultural event with delicious Himalayan curries.
I love the dal, it's very delicious.
And he shows me recipes from his Sherpa heritage and the curries that serving Gurkhas cook when off duty.
And after that, I'm going to be cooking a typical British Sunday dinner, but with a difference, a spicy difference.
My name is Madhur Jaffrey. I first came to Britain from India in the 1950s, and over the decades have helped home cooks recreate South Asia's recipes through books and shows. The Gurkhas are all recruited from Nepal and form a special section of the British Armed Forces. They are renowned for their tenacious fighting abilities. One of the main Gurkha regiment barracks is near the town of Aldershot, and in the last 4 years, this area of Hampshire has become home to Britain's newest South Asian group. Hundreds of families have settled here and are starting their own Nepalese community with shops and cafes.
Okay, Madhur, would you like to?
Yeah,
Come in, please.
I was invited to an evening charity event where members of the Gurkha community were celebrating their culture with traditional dress and music and dance. Up until a few years ago, ex-Gurkhas were required to return to Nepal when they retired from the British Army. Many people thought this unfair, and as former Gurkha Major Tekendra explained to me, they sought a change in the law, allowing them and their families to stay.
We are a very new community. We are here now because we suddenly realized that the foreign and Commonwealth soldiers who serve in the armed forces, they get settlement right if they serve for 4 years.
I followed the fight.
Absolutely.
And have you won the fight now?
With the aid of John Lumley, yes.
Yes.
Near about 30 to 40,000, including dependents. They're all ex-servicemen of the British Armed Forces.
Wow, such a big spread here.
This is a traditional Nepalese buffet.
Pemba Lama is one of the Gurkhas' most experienced chefs. He talks me through the traditional Nepalese spread.
This black dal is actually flavored with the Himalayan herb that especially comes from the Mustang area of Nepal.
Don't get here.
No, you don't get it here.
Now, which one is this?
This one is the goat curry, and that's the chicken chili.
That's not very Nepalese, is it?
Kind of like the mix. That's the Nepalese style vegetable with the peas and the potatoes and the beans.
Okay.
This one here, that's the pork.
This is the pork curry?
I can show you how to make that one curry.
Because of its location, some Nepalese dishes like the chicken chili and the pork with bok choy are Chinese influenced. But this vegetable dish is very similar to the mutton paneer from my childhood in India.
I feel there's a kinship with Chinese food and a kinship with Indian food.
This is a typical Nepalese food they eat every day. Because there are so many different tribes, they all have their own special traditional food.
I'd love to learn about all these. I hope you're going to cook some of that for me.
I will.
Pemba lives nearby in Basingstoke. He is passionate about the food of his heritage, and I never turned down an opportunity to see new recipes.
What are we making? What is the dish called?
Okay, this dish is called shakpa.
Sherpa.
Shakpa.
Pemba prepares oxtail and stewing beef using his Gurkha cookery knife.
It's scary, but it's wonderful to watch. Sherpas is a particular group.
A particular tribe that descended from Tibet. Sherpa is the man from the east.
What is their profession normally?
Their profession is they climb the mountains. So they are the porter. They work as a porter.
Yes, we know them as mountain people who take people to Everest. are they Hindus, the Sherpas?
The Sherpas are Buddhist.
So the eating of meat is allowed?
Mainly up in the mountain, they eat yak.
Yak, okay.
But they don't kill any animals. The yaks that's been fell off from the hill.
Okay, so they're saying, please, yak, fall off the hill.
Yes.
They're praying for it to fall off.
Well, you never know. So sometimes, the people...
They push it.
They,
Pemba poaches the oxtail in vegetable stock, while the stewing steak is sealed in a pan.
You're a Sherpa yourself.
Okay. All Sherpas, they've been eating since childhood. No matter which part of the world the Sherpas live, they always have this Sherpa stew at home. When they have the families and friends coming around, they always have the Sherpa stew.
The brown meat is added to the oxtail stock, and as it begins to stew, the carrot, potato, celery, and Chinese radish are also added, and they all cook together.
Well, this is Kesang.
Pemba's daughter Kesan joins us to help us make the pasta shells.
All we have in here is just plain flour, and
Okay.
then the water is just going to go in.
Shake it.
Do you want to take over? I think you need stronger arms than mine.
Look at my muscles now.
Okay. This is a
I'm getting
real
excited
dough.
Pasta was cooked in Asia long before the Italians refined their own version of it.
As you can see, it's quite smooth.
But like Italy, every region has its own way of shaping.
What we do is we just make thin line of sorts, and then all we do is just flick it,
Yeah.
like so.
Hey, what did you do quickly there?
Put it on the palm of my hand, and then flick it with my thumb.
Okay,
So when
let
I
me
do
try.
that, yeah.
Give me one. With your thumb?
Yeah, just flick it down towards. Yeah, see? So
Ah,
it creates a shell of
Very
sorts.
good. Hey! Do you know the origin of pasta? It's actually the Middle East, which had wheat to begin with.
Oh.
And I've heard from anthropologists that pasta traveled east, and therefore it probably came to Tibet before it went to China.
I'm going to add some radish as well.
The Sherpa stew is going to be eaten with a fresh salad.
You actually do the julienning beautifully. So you've got carrots, cabbage, and onion.
Raw green chili and coriander complete the salad. The pasta is added directly to the stew with a little soy sauce.
Now what I'll do is I'll simmer this one until the pasta is cooked.
How many would this feed?
This will feed 5 people. To be honest, I think if those hungry Sherpas, that's for 3 people.
Pemba finishes the salad with spices heated in oil.
Okay, what goes next is the turmeric and fenugreek seed. Okay, touch of mustard oil,
These are fenugreek seeds,
the magic spice, turmeric.
health-giving spice, I should
Okay,
say.
and that goes there.
There's one special spice that Pemba adds that is very Nepalese.
Just to finish it off, we use the brown Himalayan brown Sichuan peppercorn. That's what we call it here in the West. We call it Timur.
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 Timur is similar to Chinese Sichuan pepper. It's a strange taste with a metallic tingling, not unlike licking the terminals on a small battery.
Health warning: if you chew this raw seed, it will start to give you some suffocation. We have a strong belief that if you eat 9 seeds, that will be.
Kill
Thank
you.
you very much. Bye bye.
So this is more like a stew
More like
and less of a curry.
yes.
But the salad that goes with it is like a curried salad because it has the turmeric and chilies
Fenugreek seeds
and
also,
fenugreek
yeah.
seeds. So it's a mixture. It is delicious.
I would take this dish as very healthy because everything's been boiled, even the fat's been blanched, meat's been sealed.
My favorite part of the dish is the salad.
Yeah,
obviously, because
I
it
love the
it
salad.
has that, spicy kick to it. So.
It's really like a curried salad.
Yes.
It's wonderful to come all this way to Basingstoke and find Sherpa food. Thank you so much for making it.
It's a pleasure.
There are currently 3,400 Gurkhas serving in the British Army, all of them recruited from Nepal. They have fought in every major conflict since the Falklands, including the Gulf Wars, Bosnia, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Pemba joined the Gurkhas in 1979. After a couple of years working in the transport division, he transferred to the chefs and spent the rest of his army career cooking. He's now what is known as a master chef. He trains the other Gurkha chefs who cook for their regiments.
The Gurkhas, they get 10 months of the basic military training. And some of the Gurkhas, they choose to become a chef.
Yeah.
And they come to the school, and I teach them for 16 weeks. That includes all the European cooking. And after they have completed the 16 weeks, they have a special privilege to attend the 3 weeks of the Gurkha cookery phase.
This extra 3 weeks training with Pemba enables the Gurkhas to have their own cuisine, separate from the rest of the British Army, a menu of meat and vegetable curries that rotates every few weeks. Pemba wants to show me something that is closer to a Gurkha heart than their army ration curries.
And what is special among the Gurkhas is they have the love of the cooking. They have the passion of cooking, and it's like a tradition. So they work very hard throughout the week, and when it comes to the weekend, they always have some kind of organized party, and we call it messing.
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 Yes.
Gurkha messing is very popular within the Brigade of Gurkhas.
Very good.
This idea of messing is unique to the Gurkhas. It is about the soldiers relaxing with each other by cooking a curry. After the break, Pemba teaches me one of these messing curries cooked with pork.
But what is important is they use lots and lots of chili.
The hotter it is, the more you dance.
And I cook something a little more familiar for the British, a Sunday chicken pot roast, but with a special spicy Indian twist. I have been exploring Nepalese cooking with Pemba Lama, a master chef with the Gurkha Brigade of the British Armed Forces. The Gurkhas enjoy their special cuisine within the army, and Pemba is going to show me a recipe they cook when they are off duty.
What are we making now?
I'm making pork curry.
Yeah.
This kind of dish is very popular in the Gurkha regiment.
It's pork belly.
So it has got a lot of fat. So what I'll do is first cook the fat.
The Nepalese love these fattier pieces of pork, but you could use shoulder with less fat.
Any fat remaining in the pan, we'll discard that one. So this messing is very, very important part of the Gurkha soldier's life.
Would you be using a wok like a utensil?
In the unit, we'll have a wok to cook something for about 30, 40 people. So it's a big wok.
Yeah.
That's been done now, so I'll take that out.
The saturated fat has rendered out, and Pemba replaces it with healthier vegetable oil.
I'm going to put a little bit of the fenugreek seed. I also use the Oswan seed.
Carom seeds also.
Unlike the Sherpa stew, using onions, ginger and garlic as the base for the dish tells me that this is the start of a true curry. Dried turmeric powder goes in, and also fresh spices.
This is the fresh masala I've made it myself. What I've got here is coriander seed and the cumin seed, 2 tiny chilies, cinnamon and cardamom seed.
That's smelling good already.
Fresh masalas need to cook through in the pan.
You make it fresh every time?
Every time. The reason why we make the fresh one is you can see what is actually going in there. Now what goes next is the meat. This is going to be cooked in a high heat.
Pemba doesn't add water. The meat fries, and then he covers the pan to trap its natural steam, lifting the lid to stir occasionally.
Messing. This is something that happens in Nepal, or does it happen here as well?
Well, this thing never happens in Nepal.
Oh, so this happens in Britain.
Yes. During the basic military training, most of the Gurkhas, they don't enjoy going out like other soldiers, going out in a disco or pub. What they enjoy most is having the messing.
And this is all in Britain.
This recipe is one that they learn from each other, not from Pemba's official training courses.
The one we teach all the Gurkha chefs is how to prepare a Class A curry for the unit. In the messing hut, it's like your own style.
Oh, whatever comes to your head.
Wherever. But what is important is they use lots and lots of chili. It's because it helps drink. You know?
You get thirsty.
Yeah, you get thirsty.
Drink.
Pemba adds the fatty belly he fried earlier.
So the pieces you just put in also had fat.
We separate the fat. It's like a pork crackling. You cook the fat and you set aside.
You fry the fattier parts, let them get crisp and become like crackling, and you take those out, and all the people that are dancing now spot this, and you've already put salt and chili powder and lemon juice on it, and they just come and snack on it.
Snack on it.
And whatever is left, you
That
put
goes
back
back
in the dish.
Yes.
So now your version of doing it here, you do the same thing, but you've got all of the crackling, as it were. You put all of it back.
Yes.
All right.
Adding a whole lemon is a great idea. The oils and the zest will help cut through the fatty pork deliciously.
Now, these vegetables.
Pemba is using choy sam in place of Nepalese mustard greens. But you could use Swiss chard or even spring cabbage. But put the stalks in first, as they take longer to cook.
It's looking very good.
Turn it off.
Done. That's great.
You know, there's some curries you just know they're going to be delicious before you even taste them. And if I were at a messing hut with a beer and wood smoke,
Scrumptious. I could have that with rice any day.
The beauty of this dish is the fat is nicely cooked, and because the fat is already fried, now when you add it towards the end, adds up all the flavor and it tastes good.
Pemba's recipes feel very personal. The stew and curried salad are from his own Sherpa heritage, while this delicious messing curry is from the precious moment when British Army Gurkhas relax.
It's delicious. Thank you. Now I'm going to drag you away from this wonderful Nepalese food and go to something you're more familiar with, the Sunday roast. I could make the Sunday roast many different ways, but what Indians like to do is add a little bit of spice to it, and I'm going to show you the way I prepare my Sunday roast. The funny thing about Indians is that they don't like chicken with skin, and there's a good reason for it. If you are going to put a marinade of any kind on the chicken, it must go into the chicken, and the skin always stops that happening.
Skinning a chicken can seem daunting, but it just takes a little perseverance.
Hack any skin that you see off. Turn it over. Cut down the middle. Now start pulling the skin off. A good way to do this, because chicken slips, the skin slips, so you want to hold it tightly. See this little bit of film? You're not cutting the flesh, you're cutting this film which attaches the skin to the meat. Now this part is done. Now yank it. Use all your yanking techniques. Yank and yank. See? Freedom at last is off. It suddenly gives. It says, I give up. Here, take my skin. All right. All right, now, and the wings, I gave up on the wings. I mean, I'm not going to skin them. Don't bother. It's too hard.
Make some deep cuts in the flesh of the breast of the chicken, down to the bone. And now prepare the marinade for the chicken.
So I'm going to put in lemon juice, a little bit of oil, and now I'm going to put a whole lot of seasonings. We call them the usual suspects. This is the garlic, fresh green chili, cumin, coriander, salt, and there's fresh ginger.